Oh, hello. Hello. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me share my screen. Hope you are able to see my screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. So before starting today's session, let me give my quick introduction about myself. Myself, Pankaj, and I have total 5 years of experience. Total 5+ years of experience in IT, and currently I'm working in a product-based US-based company. And coming to my skill sets, like Java, Spring, Spring Boot, Microservices, Linux, and AWS. So that's a quick introduction about myself. Can you tell me something about yourself?
Yeah, my name is Sean. I study at Chicago in our 10th grade, and
Okay.
um, I have been in coding since for like 3 years.
Mm.
Currently, I'm working in Java Swing.
Okay.
So I've only built like 5 applications
Mm.
so far.
Like you
So
have
yeah.
knowledge on Core Java, Advanced Java.
Uh, Java Advanced, I don't have complete knowledge, but I have at least half. Core
Okay.
Java, I completely know. Advanced, I'm not that thorough with it.
Because here we are going to cover Spring, Spring Boot, microservices, and real-time project.
Yeah, annotators is what I'm kind of having trouble with. So, the only annotators I've used is add getter and add setter from
Mm.
Lombok.
Yes, yes. Like for getter and setter, you must. Okay, so let's start.
Okay.
Like prerequisite, let me tell about the prerequisite to attend this. Like the first prerequisite is Core Java.
Okay.
Like without having knowledge of Core Java, we cannot learn Spring, Spring Boot, and microservices, because that's the important. And we every time we need to deal with the Core Java only, whether we are experienced or fresher. Next, like advanced Java. Like in advanced Java, mainly there are JDBC servlet knowledge is required.
Okay.
Suppose if you don't know JSP, so that's not a problem. Because currently
JSP,
JSP
I
is
don't
outdated. Like for front end, people are using React and Angular.
know.
Next, Oracle, or we can say SQL.
We can't do anything without this.
No, no, basic knowledge of all these must be for creating the project, like Oracle for database connectivity and all.
Okay.
Like Oracle is required to understand our Spring Boot and microservices. Like what is SQL, how to create a table, and how to perform operations in table,
Yeah.
then how to write join queries, what is primary key, what is foreign key. So that concepts is required, and if like we have need to have knowledge on Hibernate framework as well, a more basic knowledge of ORM. I hope you are aware of all this basics. So
Hibernate is basically something which converts that Oracle to Java code.
yeah, for relation mapping and all.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are the prerequisite to attend like the Spring Boot, microservices, and real time. So now coming to the course content, like what we are going to learn as a part of Spring Boot and microservices. Like I have divided this course into multiple part. Like the first part we are going to understand is like Spring Core.
Uh,
So basically we are going to learn Spring Core.
okay.
So to understand Spring Boot, Spring knowledge is required because Spring
Okay.
Boot is developed on the top of Spring Framework,
Yeah.
and we are going to start our journey with Spring Framework. And in Spring, like we are going to learn Spring Core modules. So this will be our part first, like we can say part one of our course.
Yeah.
Next is like Spring JDBC. JDBC. So already we know JDBC. There are 5 steps available to communicate with the database. Like if you go for Spring JDBC with one line, so we can perform the operation. So Spring JDBC is advanced to JDBC technology. And once it is completed, we are going to learn Spring Boot.
Okay. There are two different frameworks.
No, no, Spring Boot comes under Spring only, just it is advanced version we can say.
Uh,
Because in Spring, every time we need to configure based configuration and notation based. That's the
uh,
reason Spring Boot was introduced to reduce these boilerplates and make the development easy. So developers can focus mostly on developing part, not configuring and all those.
okay.
So yeah, so that's why directly I'm not going to start Spring Boot. First, some basic fundamentals of Spring frameworks is required to understand the Spring Boot. So once Spring
Okay.
Boot is started, we are going to learn Spring Data JP.
Okay.
So this is the most advanced concept of perform database operation in project, and we are going to learn Spring Data JPA. So once it is completed, we are going to learn Spring Web MVC. So it is used to develop web applications. So by using Spring Framework, and it is used to develop and simplify the development of web applications in Java. So to develop web applications in Java, we are going to use Spring Web MVC module. And after a Spring MVC module is completed, so the most important part that is RESTful web services.
Okay. Spring Web MVC is part of that add-ons, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
like we are going to learn how to develop REST API. Like every
Uh,
project developed based on a microservices architecture in the industry. So
uh,
to understand that microservices development, we need to know first how to develop REST API. And
uh,
this RESTful services we are going to learn to understand distributor applications. So
uh,
like we can say like we are going to learn Spring REST here. And by
uh,
using Spring REST, we are going to develop distributed application. And after the this RESTful is completed, we are going to learn Spring Cloud.
okay.
So after Spring Cloud is completed, then we will go for microservices.
Spring Cloud is downloading and uploading files.
Uh,
Okay.
so next is microservices is like we can say it is very important for Java developer, and every project in the industry is getting developed based on microservices architecture.
Uh,
So to develop microservices, we need to know Spring Cloud, we need to know RESTful web services, we need to know Web MVC, and we need to know like Data JPA, then Spring
uh,
Boot, JDBC, Spring Core. All these modules are required in
okay.
order to develop microservices. So once microservices is completed, we are going to learn Spring Security.
Uh,
So basically, this is to for like how to secure our applications in the real-time project, and how
uh,
we are going to implement security to perform authentication and authorization. So those
uh,
concepts we are going to learn using Spring Security.
yeah,
So once Spring Security is completed, then the final one we are going to learn Spring Boot integration. Spring Boot integration. So we need to integrate our Spring Boot application with like Apache Kafka, Redis Cache, Docker, unit testing, logging. Hope you are aware of these tools. You might have heard of
log,
like Apache
like log,
Kafka, Redis Cache, Docker, unit testing. If not,
can you repeat?
I will teach you. Like Kafka is like we can see how to integrate our app with Apache Kafka, how to integrate our app with Redis Cache, and how to integrate our Spring Boot application with Docker and all. Then how to perform unit testing, how to log
With
the application.
Docker and the OS.
Yeah, Docker for like containerization. We
Yeah, I know what's Docker, but I'm not sure about Spring Boot integration.
like different tools we will integrate with our apps. So our course,
Uh,
like we can say, like it is divided into 10 modules: Spring Core, Spring JDBC, Spring Boot, Spring Data JPA, Spring Web MVC, RESTful Web Services for creating REST APIs, Spring Cloud, Microservices, Spring Security, Spring Boot integration.
yeah,
So this is our course content, and I hope you are clear with the prerequisite. This pre.
yeah, yeah,
And of like our course, after covering all these 10 points, you will be, I can say, equivalent to 3 to 4 years experience Java developer. Like whatever I know in Spring and Spring Boot, I'm going to cover.
okay,
Yeah, so let's get started. So before starting our actual course, first let's understand that why you know core Java. Like core Java comes under which category? Core Java language comes under
yeah,
programming language.
yeah,
It is a programming language we can say. What we can do using this core Java, like Core Java contains fundamentals of the languages,
Yeah,
language fundamentals. So if we go for Core Java, language fundamentals are available. Syntaxes are there. So
yeah,
syntaxes will be available, like how to develop a Java program, how to compile the Java program, how to run the Java program. So all these
yeah.
basic
That
like execution flow of control statement,
yeah,
arrays, hoops, concepts, exception handling,
yeah.
and what we can say is then find file handling, IO streams. All these will be available in.
File, I don't have complete knowledge on them, but I know how to read and write files.
Yeah, that is enough. So by using this core Java, we are going to develop only standalone applications.
Yeah.
Standalone applications.
Um, Standalone applications is where it's not dependent on anything.
Like the
So it's like
applications which run on only one computer.
only on one computer. Yeah.
Yes. Suppose if you develop an application using core Java, so that application is called standalone application, and that
Okay.
application can run only on one computer. So in
Okay.
every computer, we need to download that application. Suppose we have Notepad, calculator,
Okay.
all those we can say standalone applications.
Yeah.
And others are like web applications, Gmail, Facebook, YouTube. All these are web applications.
Wait, they depend on the cloud for that.
Yeah, in that request response, all those are there. So we cannot say that standalone application. Those are web applications.
Okay.
So next one coming to technologies. This was programming language. Then coming to the technologies, Java technologies. What are the technologies available there? JDBC,
JDBC,
Servlet,
JSP.
and JSP. Like what is JDBC? So the purpose of JDBC is to establish connection with the database.
Okay.
And we have servlet technology. So servlet is available. JSP is available. So what is the purpose of JDBC? For database communication.
Okay.
Is then using JDBC. Next we will talk. So like, can I use JDBC to develop web applications? No. So JDBC is only used for database communication.
Oh,
So like, suppose, can I develop entire project using JDBC? So no, that is not possible. JDBC will play one role in the project. So suppose if I am developing a project and in that project I want to communicate with the database, then we are going to
like
use this JDBC.
login data.
Yeah, like JDBC is Java Database Connectivity.
Uh,
Next, we are going for servlets. Yes. So servlets are for web application development. Web application development. Like if you want to develop a web application, you need to go with servlet. So now we have JSP also. So what is the purpose of JSP?
um,
Any idea?
no idea.
So like JSP is used for presentation logic, user
Uh,
interface UI. You can like whatever we can see So JSP is used for presentation logic. Like if you want to develop presentation logic, user interface in your application, then we are going to use JSP.
Okay.
So this JDBC servlet JSP will be present to develop one web-based application.
Okay.
To develop a web application, we can go with servlet. Servlets will contain backend logics. JSP will contain front-end logics, and JDBC will contain database logic. So
Okay.
now, as a Java developer, if you want to get a job in the industry, then
Yeah.
this programming language knowledge is required.
Okay.
So here we are choosing Java as our programming language. And
Okay.
so code Java, you know already, right?
Yeah.
Like in code Java, we understood like language fundamentals are there, syntax
Yeah.
are there.
Yeah. I do.
Language,
Like fundamentals. Yeah. I've done that.
syntax,
Um, syntax.
syntaxes of Java because
Yeah. Always end with semicolon, etc. etc.
yes. So and we understand like Java concepts like oops, collection, exception handling, multi-threading, IO streams, and several Java concepts are there. So after completing of Java programming, we move to Java technologies like JDBC, Servlet, and JSP. This all comes
Yeah.
under Java technologies.
Okay.
So like what is this technology? Technology is to develop by using this Java,
Yeah.
using this core Java. We can use these Java technologies are developed. Like
Okay.
JDBC developed using Java, Servlet developed using Java, JSP also developed by using Java. So by using this technology, now using these technologies, we can develop web applications. So
Yeah.
next, like to work in a company, we need to learn Java framework because in real time only we use frameworks to develop a project. So along with Java programming language and Java technologies, we need to know Java frameworks. So for every Java developer, frameworks are mandatory because in the company, each and every project we are going to develop using Java framework.
Okay.
Are you clear?
Yeah.
Okay. So like what are the Java frameworks available? So there are several frameworks available in the market, like
Okay.
Hibernate is there, Hibernate, then Spring. So now the Spring, so the advanced version is there called Spring Boot.
Okay.
So nowadays, each and every project developed in companies are using Spring Boot. Okay, so
Okay.
Spring Boot is not a separate framework. Spring Boot is just one approach to develop Spring applications only.
Oh,
And
okay.
currently in the market, people are using Spring Boot to develop the applications.
Yeah, a lot of companies like Apple,
Yeah,
Microsoft.
like if you put
Yeah.
Spring Boot microservices in your resume, daily 10 to 15 calls you will get.
Yeah.
So like if you want to become a Java developer, then what all concepts you need to know? First of all, Java programming language. programming language, that is Java. So we are choosing Java as a programming language. Along with this programming language, we need to know Java technologies. That is JDBC, servlets, and JSP. What are the technologies available? JDBC, servlets, and JSP. Like if you
Okay.
don't know JSP, no problem because it is outdated and not used in
Oh,
India. And along with this, we need to go with one Java framework.
so I don't have to learn it at all.
Which one?
So I don't have to learn it at all.
Yeah, no need.
Oh, okay.
In Java frameworks, we have Hibernate, Spring Boot. So what are the frameworks available? ORM framework is available. Like Hibernate is one of the ORM frameworks, object relations mapping, we can say ORM. Hibernate framework is available, then Spring and Spring Boot is available. So the next question arises like uh, when we are going to work on a project, then in these
Okay.
three, uh, which one we are going to use to develop a project? Like core Java is available,
JDBC servlets, then
and
Hibernate, SpringBoot, and Spring.
advanced Java is available, then frameworks are available. So which one we are going to use the project? Answer is all. We need to use all.
Yeah. Um,
All how
yeah,
that I will explain. Like most of the words will be on the frameworks only.
but most of it is required.
No, these are internally used. Like most of the works we will work on framework. Suppose we are
Okay.
using the framework.
Okay.
That frameworks are internally using JDBC and servlets. Frameworks are internally using JDBC and servlets.
Okay.
And we are not going to write servlet code and JDBC code directly. We are going
Oh,
to use frameworks and we are going to use Hibernate. So Hibernate will internally use JDBC.
okay.
Hibernate will internally use JDBC for database. And when we are going to use Spring, then Spring will internally use servlets.
Yeah.
So we are going to work with frameworks to develop our project. And when we are using the frameworks, then frameworks are internally using advanced Java technologies. Clear?
Yeah.
So now let's try to understand what is Java framework and why framework came into market. Like what are the advantages for going with framework? Because already Java language is available. So if
Yeah.
Java language is available, then why Java technologies came into market? Like
To make it easier for developers.
this is right. So when Java technologies are available, then why Java frameworks came into market?
Same
And
thing.
this is and then we can see like what are frameworks, why frameworks having this much demand, how the frameworks are going to help us in the project development.
Yeah.
So like we have core Java, we can revise it. Core Java to develop standalone application. then JDBC to develop persistence logic. Persistence means database. To develop database
Uh,
logics, and servlets are there to develop web applications. And JSP to develop presentation logic. Presentation logic like UI, user interface.
yeah,
Perfect. So after Hibernate is available, Spring is available. So these are called the frameworks.
yeah.
So now let's understand what are the frameworks and why we need to go for frameworks. So let's suppose we want to develop a project. Then project
Yeah,
contains several logics. We need to write those several logics.
yeah.
Projects contain several logics, we can say.
I've heard something called as Java dot applet.
Java dot,
Applet.
yeah, applet is there. So, what are the logics available? Like there is a database DB logic. In every project, we can see like there is DB logic, business logic, then web logics, and
Yeah.
presentation logics.
Methods, like that
In web logics, we have request and response.
response.
In presentation, we have UI, user interface. Like database logics will be available, business logics will be available. In every project contains several logics. Web logics will be available, and presentation logics will be available. So by combining all these things, we are going to develop a project. So we need to communicate with the database. We need to capture the data from the form. We need to do some form validations. Then what are like we need to store the data in database. Then we
Okay.
need to retrieve that data from the database, and we need to display that data in UI. So presentation
Yeah.
logic will be available, web logics will be available, business logics will be available, and database logics will be available. So by combining
Yeah.
all these, we are going to develop a project. So now for every project, database communication is mandatory. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Yes. So like database communication is mandatory. To communicate with database, what we are going to do, we need to load a driver. Then
Loading
we
drivers.
yeah in JDBC there are 5 steps for connecting with the database. So that is step I am telling. Later on, these steps we will eliminate by it.
That's what you have to do every single time.
Yeah, like every time we need to get connection. If you have developed a
Uh,
project using only core Java and advanced Java, then you might have idea that every time we need to write the driver, every time we need to get the connection, and every time we need to create a statement.
why?
After that, we need to execute the query, and then at last we have to close that connection.
Every single time in a loop. Every button press, every
So like this is common for everybody. So in every project, database communication will be available. And so if we want to communicate with database, you need to load the driver, then get the connection. Then you need to create the statement. You need to execute the query. And after all this, then we need to close the connection. So here executing query will be different based on the requirement. For
okay.
every be different. uh, Rest all will be same. It will changed based on like if we are using JDBC, every developer will write these 5 lines, which will be common. In every method, we need to load driver, get connection, create a statement, execute query, close the connection. So several places we need to write this logic. So this is called boilerplate code. Like, what is the meaning of boilerplate code? Hello.
Uh, yeah,
So like these repeated codes, we can say the codes which are getting repeated every time,
okay.
these are called boilerplate code. So in every project, developer has to write the same code again and again.
Uh,
So that's why framework came into picture. Like or we can say we have to write uh, in every program, and we will end up by writing repeated code. Repeated code means boilerplate code. So this is the first problem. When we are using Java technologies, that is JDBC, Servlet, and JSP, we need to write the same repeated codes to develop our project. Now let's take the second scenario. First was like database, DB logics, then web logics will be there. And the meeting will be end in next 1 minute. Tomorrow or next we can continue in the next session.
yeah,
Yes. Logics like request and response. Here we will develop like for display logic form validation, then capture form data, store form data. Because in web apps there are forms, login forms,